expect fair skies Sunday through Tuesday with temperatures in the 70s on Sunday.
Time to talk about the tropics. It's 10 minutes till the hour. Let's talk about Tropical Depression number 9 first of all. This is of interest for sure for a lot of folks. Moving west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. This is the Caribbean. Here's the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and our depression is moving off towards the west-northwest. Winds are at 35 miles per hour. Pressure 1,008 millibars. Now, with a track like that, west-northwest, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Florida, the Gulf Coast, even eastern Florida should be watching this very closely. Now, hurricane hunters will be out there later on this morning investigating it, but it is forecast to become a tropical storm. You can see the convection starting to wrap around the center here, and there's some outflow with this, so there is potential for development and room for development. But if it does move over Hispaniola, well, we could be looking at it weakening a little bit because of 9,000-foot mountains. But, again, of course, we'll be watching this close. We have tropical storm watches up and warnings here for the southern parts of the Dominican Republic. So, again, through the weekend into early next week, folks in the Gulf Coast should be watching this closely, and, of course, eastern Florida as well. Right now, it's pretty quiet, though, in the Gulf of Mexico. A couple of areas we are watching as well. 2 areas of low pressure in the Atlantic, another one coming off of Africa. And these also have potential for development of tropical depressions or storms. We'll be watching these very closely as well. In the eastern Pacific, this complex of storms, this could be a TD very soon, folks. Another area off to the west of it. So if you have travel plans to Acapulco or a cruise here, this is something you need to watch out for as well. We'll keep you up to date on this. That's it for your tropical outlook. Nick?
Marshall Cease joins us now from the weather today, and Marshall, looks like a wet end to the summer heat in the Northeast.
Yeah, it does, Nick, but it's also going to be a nice, cool beginning of the weekend, too. Dr. John Neese will show us when and where storms may rumble over the I-95 corridor. Now, with that in mind, you may want to check in here at the Weather Channel or weather.com this afternoon to get a check on the beaches and travel for the weekend, and your full beach forecast for the weekend is coming up, too. Now, Nick has the latest on the economic toll from Europe's heat wave.
It's true, recent blistering temperatures in Europe left their mark on the continent's economy. Linda Bell has details in the Bloomberg Money Barometer.
Good morning. Conflicting weather conditions are affecting economic growth in Britain and Japan. UK retail sales dropped in July after rising at the fastest pace in 1.5 years the previous month. Hot weather encouraged consumers to soak up the sun rather than visit shopping malls. Weak consumer spending kept Europe's biggest economy from growing in the first half of the year. Now, on the opposite side of the weather spectrum, analysts say Japan's coolest summer in more than a decade may hinder an economic recovery. Daiichi Life Research Institute says each drop in average temperatures of 1.5 degrees Celsius cuts about 500 billion yen or $4 billion from Japan's gross domestic product. Analysts say poor weather could also knock down one of the pillars of the economy, consumer spending. Various retailers as well as companies that manufacture air conditioners, beer, and dairy products either cut their earnings forecast or reported a decline in sales due to the cool weather. For the Weather Channel, I'm Linda Bell with the Bloomberg Money Barometer.
The weekend's here. Will we get relief in the Northeast? Can you head to the beaches without thunderstorms? We think you can. Saturday it's going to be cooler, gorgeous, so don't go today. Go tomorrow. It's going to be great. In the Southeast, isolated thunderstorms all the way through the weekend. And we'll see hot and dry weather across the plains again with those temperatures on Saturday. Still in the 90s, and of course heat indices will be even higher than this. But look at the 60s now into New England on Sunday.
Severe thunderstorms moving through Zanesville, Ohio, headed eastward, Mark.
And those storms could bear down on places like Hartford, Connecticut, and also Washington, D.C. this afternoon. Pittsburgh, watch out. Thunderstorms knocking on the door for the morning commute, as Nick mentioned.
All right, thank you, Mark. That's it for First Outlook. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Stay tuned, though. Your weather today follows LeBron Hayes.
It's amazing what it takes to run a restaurant.
The employee turnover is high. The inventory is highly perishable. The overhead is, can break the bank. It's insane. I mean, it's no wonder that about 90% of all restaurants fail in the first year. That must mean, though, that 10% succeed.
With Open, the Small Business Network, Rocco DeSpirito.
Good Friday to you. Time now for our tropical update here at the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Rich Johnson. Let's take a look at the latest conditions of our tropical depression. Tropical depression number 9. It's quite likely this will become a tropical storm either later today or certainly by tomorrow. Information as of 11 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Centered 16.4 north, 68.6 west. That's about 150 miles south-southeast of Santo Domingo. Top sustained winds at 35. Of course, that's usually rounded off to 40 when you see the transition to tropical storm status. That hasn't happened right now. We have a depression. It's moving off to the west-northwest, 12 miles per hour. And the pressure is estimated because the Air Force reconnaissance aircraft, the Hurricane Hunter, isn't out there. I was checking for the reports, and so far, no reports from the aircraft. Tropical storm warnings in effect for large part of southern Haiti and right down across southern Dominican Republic for the likelihood of tropical storm force conditions to move across the region. Here's the big view satellite photograph. Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba off to the west. Here's Puerto Rico. And we have a lot of the squalls really up on that northern and eastern side of the system at this time. Circulation center right in this area here. So that's what we're dealing with today. So far, not a tropical storm, but once the aircraft, the Hurricane Hunter, gets out there today, we'll be able to ascertain important features such as the surface pressure, different kinds of winds, closed circulation or not, and it looks like that is a possibility today. It didn't look possible yesterday. Looked like we had a very strong tropical wave, but I think we're finding some strengthening. Here's another vantage point, another visible satellite image. Of course, Puerto Rico right here, and head farther to the west, you run into the Dominican Republic. I think you can see the circulation center if you look closely. Watch at the bottom part of the screen, right in through this area. You can see a little bit of twisting motion right in there. That's probably the surface circulation as well as a mid-level center. Yesterday, we had that mid-level center that we were dealing with. As we look at another vantage point, this is our infrared picture. Again, we're seeing a little burst here. Yesterday, it went under a steady strengthening all the way through the afternoon hours into the early evening. Overnight, it calmed down some. Now, as you see the reds and yellows expanding, that's telling us that it's now going through a strengthening phase again. Something else that we're watching that we didn't have yesterday. Yesterday, there was a perfect anticyclone over this, which was very favorable for strengthening. Today, if you look farther to the west, you can see some of the clouds coming in from the west. Here we go. You can see some of these high cirrus clouds moving in from the west, so there may be some weak shearing on the west side. So that would slightly inhibit, although as you look at the anticyclonic spin to these cirrus clouds aloft, overall it is quite favorable for strengthening. Where's it going? Well, what we expect to happen is that this system will drift up toward Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, Haiti, of course, and then eventually make its way to the southern Bahamas, and it's possible that by early next week, South Florida or through the Bahamas, you'll have to deal with this system one fashion or another. Of course, Dominican Republic, Haiti area has very high mountains, and if the circulation does cross it, it will get chewed up. Our main concern, what happens after that? How strong will it be once it gets past the Dominican Republic and Haiti? Over to Puerto Rico, you can see some of the showers. There's the big band of rain wrapping around the surface circulation well off to the southwest of Puerto Rico. Again, there's our feature. Yesterday, showers and storms in the Gulf of Mexico, those have calmed down. We have some other tropical waves that we're watching out of the open waters. Middle of the Atlantic here, we have the islands well off to the west. Yesterday, we're watching our tropical wave. That's off to the
Expect fair skies Sunday through Tuesday with temperatures in the 80s on Sunday.
It's 10 minutes before the top of the hour and time for the tropical update. I'm meteorologist Carl Parker. If you've been following the tropics in the last day or so, you may have seen that a tropical depression developed in the Caribbean yesterday afternoon. At this point, there is no closed circulation, and that feature has been downgraded to a tropical wave, and we'll check that out in just a moment. First, the entire Atlantic Basin And we do have one wave coming off the West African coast again today, a very large wave here. And we'll watch it. That's all we can do at this point. These waves, as they have tended to come off the coast, have not done very well in the middle of the Atlantic, as there's been a lot of subsidence. But we do need to watch them at this time of year. This is a very, very active time of year. We've got one right here. And again, this one just coming off the West African coast. TD9, as it was called for about 24 hours, is right here. It is now just a plain old tropical wave. A lot of squally weather now moving towards Puerto Rico and Hispaniola, and the thinking is that this will move through the islands here. If it does survive, it may continue along towards the north and towards the west. So it certainly does bear watching over the next few days as it continues along towards the north and west, and you can bet that we'll keep our eyes on it. Things are quiet in the Gulf tonight. We still have an upper trough in place here across Florida. A lot of very heavy rain once again today, and there's also now a tropical depression just off the western coast of Mexico. Some fairly heavy rain with that, but primarily offshore. We'll take you back into the lower 48 now, and a very busy afternoon. We have a front which extends from the northeast and back down into the Ohio Valley. Some watch areas along with that. Severe thunderstorm watch here from Boston down through Hartford and New York City and into Philly and into areas just east of Baltimore and D.C. And there's another watch now in Kentucky, and another one has just been issued for Tennessee. There's a big complex of storms working southward through western Tennessee, and that will be working into, rather it's in Kentucky right now, and that will be moving into Tennessee in short order. First, we take you into Boston. A line of storms is now coming through downtown and then farther south and west right along the Mass Pike. And here's a closer look at those storms. We still do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Worcester County, Middlesex County, Norfolk County, and Suffolk County, including Boston, of course, until 7 p.m. The cell's moving toward the east at about 30 miles an hour. And a flash flood warning has been posted for southeast Middlesex County, including Somerville, Newton, and Cambridge, Norfolk County, including Quincy and Brookline, and Suffolk County, including Boston, until 8:30, as urban flash flooding is likely as these storms move through the area. So do watch for high water. And these storms, once again, are moving toward the east at about 25 miles an hour. We've had some stronger storms in southeast Pennsylvania, right around Lancaster County. And as we take you into the D.C. area, there is now a severe thunderstorm warning for Loudoun County in northern Virginia. Also some big storms now moving into northwest Montgomery County and western Howard County. And these cells are moving toward the southeast at about 40 miles an hour. And they could produce some hail or some wind. We'll watch them very closely as they move into Baltimore and D.C. Once again, there is a brand new watch area for Tennessee. We'll watch this complex of storms press southward into Tennessee over the next couple of hours here. We've also had a lot of very strong storms in North Carolina. Those appear to be winding down for the most part. And once again today, very, very heavy rain across central parts of Florida. Just a washout of a day in Tampa and Orlando and right along I-4. And then more strong storms extending into parts of Georgia and southern Alabama. Back through Texas, a busy day today. Generally west of Dallas and Fort Worth and right along I-20, these storms are working westward, and we've got more showers and more storms in the west today. More coming up.
Good night, Oranges. Sleep well, because no one here will ever flavor, freeze, or concentrate you. Unsweetened dreams. Discover Simply Orange. Simply unfooled around with.
Looking to put more